Student friends, in yesterday's lecture, we discussed about TRAC as a bidirectional semiconductor power controlling device. We studied that TRAC works in both the biased condition. It has a main terminals MT1 and MT2 along with gate as a controlling terminal. We also studied that it operates in 4 modes of operation so as to get the characteristic curve in first quadrant and also the third quadrant. TRIAC is used in a light dimmer, it is used in light flasher, it is used in speed control of DC motor, it is also used in speed control fan speed regulator, it is going to act as a static switch. So these are some of the applications which we have listed. We also studied the specifications of the TRIAC provided by the manufacturer so that the circuit designers by using TRIAC will get the restrictions of that particular TRIAC up to which its rating one can make use of that particular device. Friends, that's all about the TRIAC we studied yesterday. Today we are going to study one more and last device in power devices, and that is known as UJT. UJT means uni-junction transistor. Friends, up till now we have studied so many type of transistor. We studied BJT, we studied FET. Now we are going to study the UJT. There is a much difference which is going to be existing in all these three type of transistor. Out of which we studied two. Third one we are going to study today. And third transistor is UJT, that is uni-junction transistor. Uni means one. A transistor having only one junction is called as uni-junction transistor. Friends, please do remember that diode has one junction, BJT has two junctions, SCR has three junctions. Now we are going to study UJT as a another type of transistor having only one junction. Friends, let us study the structure of uni-junction transistor, or we can say the construction of uni-junction transistor. The construction of uni-junction transistor is represented in this particular diagram. Look at here. Whatever this rotating arrow it indicates, this represents what exactly the uni-junction transistor consists of. So to understand the construction of UJT, we can say it consists of N type of semiconducting bar. So this is sky blue colored bar, like bar represented, it is of N type of semiconductor. When we are going to say that it is N type of semiconductor, one should always remember that it has the majority charge carriers electrons and minority charge carriers as a wholes. Friends, on this N type of semiconducting bar, the P region is doped on one side of N type of semiconducting bar. So this is the white colored doping region represents p-type of semiconductor. Due to doping this p-type of semiconductor, between p-type of semiconductor and this n-type of semiconductor, the junction which is formulated. So this is the junction which is formulated between p-type and n-type of semiconductor. So that is the reason why it is called as uni-junction transistor. This p-type of the region from where the ohmic contact is taken, and that ohmic contact we can call it as an emitter of UJT. So it is one of the terminal of UJT which is obtained by taking the ohmic contact of doped p region in the n-type of semiconductor. That terminal we can call it as it is emitter. Student friends, the ohmic contact is taken from bottom of the n-type of semiconductor, so that is called as base B1. Whereas again ohmic contact is taken from top of n-type of semiconductor, it is called as the base B2. Thus, UJT has two bases, base B1 and base B2, whereas third terminal is emitter. A channel is created between B1 and B2. Dear students, there is a formation of PN junction which is represented here. Look at here. So this is the PN junction. From emitter to B1, internally fabricated resistance is going to be existing. That is resistance between PN junction and that of base B1. That spreaded resistance we can call it as it is RB1. Also, the resistance spreaded between junction and that of the B2, it is called as RB2. Again, try to remember, the spreaded resistance between junction and B1 means from this B1 and the junction, the resistance which is spreaded, it is called as RB1. And the resistance spreaded between junction and that of B2, it is called as RB2. Both the resistance are existing within the channel. The net resistance that spreaded between B1 and B2 is RB1 plus RB2. It is generally to be regarded as RB only. That is resistance between B1 and B2. Such a structured semiconducting device having only one junction with three terminals, namely emitter B1 and B2, is called as the UJT. Its equivalent structure is represented here. So this is the equivalent structure of UJT. Friends, this is the diode to which we are well aware. This diode, we can call it as it is a PN junction diode. This PN junction is same as that of P region and N region. Between that there is a junction. So this PN junction is represented here, and ohmic contact it is named as an emitter. So that's why to the P region we can call this as an emitter. As I have just explained that the resistance between junction to the B1 means this PN junction N region in the N region, the resistance spreaded between from junction to the B1, it is called as RB1. Whereas the spreaded resistance between within the N region itself from PN junction up to B2, it is called as RB2. Thus, this is base B2, this is base B1. In N region from junction, RB1 and RB2 both are present. Out of that, RB2 is fixed, whereas RB1 is a variable. Means RB2 is fixed, whereas RB1 is variable. We can change its resistance by applying the power supplies to emitter and B1 and also B2, B1. The net resistance between B2 and B1, it is represented as RB1 plus RB2. Dear students, the PN junction along with resistances RB1 and RB2 spreaded between B1 and B2 represents equivalent structure of EUZD. By using RB1 and RB2, here we are going to define one factor, and that factor we can call it as it is an intrinsic standoff ratio. That intrinsic standoff ratio is defined as RB1 upon RB1 plus RB2. So that is RB1 upon RB. RB equal to RB1 plus RB2. It is denoted by the value eta. Here eta represents the intrinsic standoff ratio of a UZT, which is the ratio of two resistances. That is the ratio of RB1 upon RB1 plus RB2. Eta plays the very vital role during its conduction mechanism of UZT. Dear students, by studying the structure of UZT and its equivalent structure formed by PN junction diode and internally spreaded RB1 and RB2, we are going to study now the circuit symbol of UZT. So this is the circuit symbol that is which we will find in most of the UZT circuitries. As like BZT, it has the symbolic representation. Friends, this is the emitter terminal, shows the pointed arrow downwards indicating that emitter is close to B2 rather than B1, whereas remaining two terminals are base B2 and base B1, or base 1 and base 2 we can call it as. Please do remember, this is the circuit symbol of UZT. Dear students, please do remember almost all the circuit symbols of the semiconductor devices we have studied, because the name of the title of our paper itself is the semiconductor devices. Please do remember here circuit symbols of PN junction diode, Zener diode, varactor diode, tunnel diode, light emitting diode, photodiode, circuit symbol of PNP transistor, circuit symbol of NPN transistor, circuit symbol of N channel FET, circuit symbol of P channel FET, circuit symbol of N channel D MOSFET, circuit channel symbol of P channel D MOSFET, circuit symbol of N channel E MOSFET, circuit symbol of P channel E MOSFET, and also the circuit symbols of SAR, circuit symbols of DIAC, circuit symbol of TRIAC, and also now the circuit symbol of UZT. So many circuit symbols and the semiconductor devices we have studied in this particular paper. Please do remember all those things. Each and every device is having its own separate construction and separate working. Please remember all these things. Now let us see how this UZT works. To understand the working of UZT, connect the power supply between B2 and B1 so that positive terminal of the supply VBB, it is represented connected to the B2, whereas the negative terminal is connected to the B1. Also, connect the supply between emitter and that of B1, it is named as VEE. As soon as VEE is connected between emitter and B1, the PN junction is forward biased. But supply voltage across the junction is not sufficient to make the UJT conducting, because RB1 which is spreaded, it is very, very large. Naturally, we can say no doubt the PN junction is forward biased, but we know that as per the property of the diode, externally applied voltage should reach to the junction potential, and that junction potential is given as Vj is equal to eta into VBB. VBB is supply voltage which we have applied. If it is say 10 volt, then we will take it as VBB is equal to 10 volt. Naturally, voltage required to develop across the junction, that is VEE, should be such that it should be eta times VBB, where eta is intrinsic standoff ratio, that is RB1 upon RB1 plus RB2. It is of the order of 0.7 in the magnitude. If suppose VBB applied voltage is just 10 volt, then eta is, if eta is 0.7, then eta into VBB, it is 0.7 into 10, that comes to be 7. This means that you should increase the emitter voltage till 7 volt. Up to that voltage, UJT doesn't conduct the current. But when Vj, that is the junction voltage, that is VEE, emitter voltage, becomes equal to eta times VBB, naturally UJT will start conducting the current. Prior to that, it doesn't conduct the current. So that is the peculiarity of this particular uni-junction transistor. Here, eta plays the very vital role. Generally, during its conduction mechanism, when voltage across junction becomes equal to Vd plus eta times VBB, that is equal to Vp, that is peak voltage. Up to peak voltage, current through emitter goes on increasing. When voltage across that PN junction becomes equal to Vp, that Vp is equal to Vd, means voltage across PN junction diode plus eta times VBB, that is a peak voltage. After that, current starts decreasing, even though voltage is increased. This particular region within which there is a decrease in current, whereas due to increase in voltage, it is known as negative resistance region of UJT. In negative resistance voltage region of UJT, what happens is, even though voltage is increased, current starts decreasing, which is against the Ohm's law. What is Ohm's law? In Ohm's law, as voltage increases, current should increase. That is, voltage is directly proportional to current. And if this is the case, then resistance associated with those particular devices is said to be a positive. But in UJT, up to peak point, means when voltage becomes equal to Vp, that is Vd plus eta times VBB, current increases. After peak point, emitter current starts decreasing even though voltage is increased, undergoing negative resistance region. This decrease in current continues till a value point is reached. At the value point, voltage is maximum whereas current is minimum. After value point, again current starts increasing with increasing voltage. So this is how the unijunction transistor works. Dear students, this is all about the construction, equivalent circuit, circuit symbol, and in short the working of UJT. We'll study some term which we have defined and then we'll stop today. Friends, when VBB is applied between B1 and B2, then voltage at the junction becomes equal to RB1 upon RB1 plus RB2 into VBB, that is equal to eta into VBB, where eta is the intrinsic stand-off ratio of UJT and it is defined as the ratio of RB1 to the RB1 upon RB2. Eta is equal to RB1 upon RB1 plus RB2. Please remember all these formulas. So that's why just I introduced that particular term. Here eta into VBB plays the very vital role. I have given an example also. If suppose supply voltage is 10 volt and eta will be provided by the manufacturer, it is in between 0.5 to 0.7. If suppose it is a 0.7, then eta into VBB, it is a 7 volt. VD, it is almost all very small, that is 0.2 volt for silicon and 0.6 volt for germanium. Accordingly, VP is going to be gets achieved. Friends, that's all about the construction of UJT, equivalent circuit of resistor equivalent circuit of UJT and the circuit symbol of UJT along with its operation, its working, how it works, what is the meaning of negative resistance region, what is the peak point, what do you understand by value point. Friends, all these aspects we have studied today in its working. Tomorrow, all these aspects are again going to continue as far as IV characteristics of UJT is being considered. Friends, today we'll stop. Tomorrow, we are going to meet with IV characteristics of UJT.